Hey nerds, and welcome back. With a new year of the insanity incarnate that is SPFBO about to kick off, I thought it a good time to release a video for all you authors who are thinking of entering, either now or in future years. As a finalist from SPFBO 7, I'm going to give you a little insight into the competition, and hopefully it will help those of you thinking of entering and help you decide if it's right for you and your story. SPFBO, or SPFBO as it's called by some heathens out there, is the self-published fantasy blog-off, a competition run by author Mark Lawrence and about to enter into its 8th year. Each year, around 300 books get entered by their authors. Now, a few rules do apply. Obviously, they must be a fantasy and they must be self-published. It's kind of in the name, although you would not believe the grey areas that those two rules alone have caused. Other rules include a minimum length of the novel, the date the book was published, so take heed, gentle viewers. Breaking the rules won't do you or your book any favour. Those who don't abide by the rules have their books unceremoniously evicted from the competition, so be sure to read through Mark's guide for entry before you submit. I'll put the link in the video description below, and please remember there are other competitions you can enter your books into that follow different sets of rules, so keep an eye out for them if your book doesn't fit SPFBO, because if you do enter and your book does get evicted from the competition, then you've just taken a spot away from someone else who might have actually had a shot. So how does the competition work? Well, it runs for a year, with 10 blogs whittling down 300 books to around 60 or so semi-finalists, and then down to 10 finalists, and finally to 1 winner. Each of the 10 gets 30 books that they have to find their finalists out of, and then all 10 blogs read and review all 10 finalists, the ratings of which then get tallied and the winner is declared. So let's get on to the pros and cons of entering. Starting with the pros. The first is obvious. By entering, you have a small, but real, chance of winning this thing and joining the list of acclaimed authors who have won in previous years. Now, having made it only to the finals of SPFBO, I can't give you insights into everything that this unlocks for you or the dirt on if there is really a secret Discord that the finalists are a part of, but I do know that the winner of my year, Justin Lee Anderson, actually got his agent as a consequence of winning SPFBO. The fact that his series has already now been picked up by a trad publisher is a real pro of the competition. Everybody self-publishes for different reasons, but if you're doing it because you're trying to get noticed by an agent or a trad publisher, which can be very tricky to do these days, then the competition may be able to help you out on that score. It's had more than a few successes, and not just with the winners. Another finalist from my year, Alexander Darwin, also got picked up. Pro number 2. Even if you don't win or don't get picked up by an agent as a result of the competition, then there are still lots of other great things that can happen to you. I'll give you a list of just some of the great things that happened to me. First off, I got to become part of the author community, which has been incredible. SPFBO is an easy way to involve yourself in the author community, and there is a lot that authors can be doing that is more than just writing and releasing books. Through SPFBO, I started appearing on panels at conventions and started making connections with other authors who I was able to run promotions with and collaborate with on other books. Being an author doesn't have to be a lonely undertaking, not anymore. Usually the finalists even get their own Discord chat, and I'm not exaggerating when I say that the Discord chat for my year was basically what got me through lockdowns. The second great thing that happened because of the competition was that I sold a lot more books. The competition is a really nice bit of promotion for your stories, especially the further your book gets in the competition, and trust me on this, free promotion is a gift. If you make it to the finals, then there is even a sale that ML Wang has run for the past couple of years. Finalists are invited to take part in this, and it results in a nice healthy spike in sales. And that's on top of all of the sales that come from the reviews of the bloggers who are judging the books in the competition. Finalists get reviewed by all 10, while everyone else just gets one review by the initial blog that their book was placed in. But this is nothing to snub at. These blogs have a substantial audience, and they really do champion the books that they love. The third thing, well, there were a few random doors that got opened, such as I was invited to join the Alchemy of Sorrow, and I was asked to write for various blog posts. I'm sure these perks change for each finalist, so I can't speak for the rest, but if you're willing, then there is a lot that this competition can do for you. So keep an eye on the Facebook page and on the blog's Twitter accounts, because they put out calls for interviews for the semi-finalists and the finalists at various points throughout the year. The fourth thing was that doing well in the competition can be so great for your self-respect as an author. It is incredibly hard when self-publishing. You don't have an agent and a publishing house taking a chance on you and ultimately saying that they back you because they believe in what you're writing. You have to do that all by yourself as an author who has gone the self-publishing route. SPFBO goes a long way to filling in that missing chunk in your self-worth column. Getting through to the semis is a badge of honor, and you should be proud of it. That validation is hard to come by in life, and that's why I'm so grateful for everyone who takes part in SPFBO and keeps it going, because they've created a means of giving that to self-published authors. Now, before you get too excited, there are a couple of downsides to the competition. They are by no means so great that you shouldn't enter, but you should definitely be aware of them before you do. Con number 1, it can be very draining to your mental health, especially if you make it to the finals. Nobody likes being judged. I always liken writing books to having kids concerning how much of yourself, your time, and your hopes that you put into them. So in a way, book competitions are kind of like those child pageants, and we've all seen how scary those parents can get. So the competition can be very stressful. You're waiting for months, you've no idea when the reviews will drop, and you can't count the taste of the judges. So it can be quite upsetting when a bad review rolls in just because a reviewer doesn't like the type of book that you wrote. But here are some tips to help you get through it all. Number 1, there is a lot of luck to the competition, especially when it comes to the first round. Great books often don't get picked up as semi-finalists or finalists just because of which blog team they landed in the pile of. Once you know that, it can become a lot easier to accept what might happen during the competition, and not to hold it against yourself and your writing if your book doesn't go as far as you hoped it would. Number 2, try to detach yourself from the reviews. I went back and reread the less good reviews of Last Memoria from its finalist days the other day, and I was shocked by how much less critical they were than I remember them being. Maybe it's imposter syndrome or my memory twisting things, but I really believe that most of the blogs hated the book. They didn't. I was probably just being a little too overly invested at the time, and I couldn't see the reviews for what they were. Now though, Last Memoria is old news to me, so I'm a bit more rational when I'm reading the reviews. So for your own sake, especially if you get through to the finals, try to emotionally distance yourself from the competition. Your mental health at the end will be in a much better condition if you do. Third tip, remember the judges are volunteering to run the competition. Yes, reviewing books is the bread and butter of their blogs. Yes, being an SPFBO judge brings with it a form of validation for their blog as well as an uptick in their viewership, but these don't come for free. Judging for SPFBO is a huge undertaking. In a year, I might read the number of books that SPFBO blogs have to do for the finals alone, let alone everything else in the rest of the competition and all the others that they have promised that they would read anyway for their blogs, the trad books that are going out as well. These judges give up a lot of their time, and most of them are doing it because they want to support the indie author community and they want to help keep SPFBO going. This leads me on to the second big con of the competition, and that's the drama. It happens every year, usually as the finals start heating up. It's unsurprising, right? A finalist gets a bad review, they're emotionally invested, they lash out on Twitter complaining about the judges. Actually, no. That I can tell, the finalists usually don't complain, or at least not publicly, about their reviews. Every finalist I've met is more than grateful enough for the competition to know that taking the hits is part of what they signed on for and what might be a necessary evil of keeping the competition alive. Some finalists even take to Twitter defending any reviewers who have slated their book because they recognise that that is just part of the parcel of being an author. Some people will love your books and some won't. People seem to assume that it's the finalists getting upset since they're the ones with the most skin in the game, but it's usually authors from previous years, authors already cut from that round, or just readers who really want to see their favourite book come out on top. So my tip to you is if you make it to the finals, then just keep your head down if the drama rears up. It will rear back down again soon enough. And another tip, in general, SPFBO is a lively community. Taking part in the Facebook and Twitter conversations is exciting and it's fun, and you should definitely do it. But just be careful what you say to the judges. Don't hassle them about when they're getting to your book. Reading so many can take a long time, so as painful as the wait is, you're just going to have to put up with it. I've seen plenty of authors leave what they think are funny messages for the judges on Twitter, but they're actually giving the judge grief over the not having got onto their book yet. And that's just not cool. So to sum up, this competition is pretty awesome, even with the cons. I'll certainly be entering again, and I look forward to opportunities that might come with it each time I do. So get your novels ready, my nerds, and this year's date of entry is May 15th. The competition usually fills up in about 24 hours, so put the reminder in your calendar. And I'll see you on the battlefield once Mark and the other judges have finished clearing away the carcasses of the 299 novels axed in the previous year. Let the massacre commence again. Bye, my nerds.